Hey guys,
Hey
hi.
guys,
Welcome
good
to
morning.
our webinar. Hey Bart, my name
Hi
is
Romeo.
Romeo. We are getting started now here. We will just wait for people to get in live. We see that people are slowly coming in. I'm here back home, staying safe. I suppose you too, Bart, and all of you there. So we will just wait a few minutes to everybody to get in. Meanwhile, just drop in the line. Where are you coming from? Like where are you streaming from? Actually, we are in Krakow. Where are you guys coming from at this point? Let's see some interactions here, guys. Like no one is telling me where they are coming from. You know the chat button in the right, where we can all stream in. A lot of people from Krakow. I see some familiar names here. So Lviv, Krakow, Denmark, all over the place. Valencia. Stay safe there.
Warsaw.
Oh, I see a lot of people coming in. So this webinar will be with Bart, who will tell us a lot about the B2B customer acquisition and conversion and lean analytics. So we'll go deep into it. Before we do that, we just wait a few minutes till everybody comes in. And I will just share my screen and share my presentation so I can show you a bit what we can expect today. So please all tell me if you see my screen, if the sound is okay, everything is good. Just give me a thumbs up or give me a yes in the chat, because that will help me understand. Just give me a yes if that's good. Okay, cool. So what's today's agenda? Very important is that we will learn 4 very important elements of customer acquisition. First of all, we will look into the 2-in-1 approach. Why you cannot do just customer acquisition and you need to do also conversion. Then we go down into one-fits-all strategy. So we will look into more like let me focus more like this. This is better. Yeah. So what we need to do in terms that the research, all the things we need to have so that we can make sure there is a strategy that fits your organization. Then we'll talk about the ideal customer profile and how we define it and what we do to validate this ideal customer profile. And then we go into experimentation, into a lean analytics cycle. So what I really want from you, I know that now it's this whole stay at home, we are in quarantine, and you are overwhelmed, but overwhelmed with a bunch of webinars. We are here, you are here. Put the distractions aside, get yourself a coffee, a tea, water, whatever you want, and start learning, because some things that we will have here with Bart and the fact that you can ask questions right away, it's something that you will not have in the recording. So we can really stay here and ask us anything about that. And in the end, it doesn't hurt me more than you coming here, spending time with us on the webinar, and then not putting things into action. And this is very important, that we come here and then we start doing the things that we learn, actually. So who will be in this webinar? It's me. I'm sales by heart in a marketing body, let's say. I worked in different big organizations, mainly corporations. And then I started Man Digital like 5 years ago, and we work mainly with tech businesses. Bart is a data-driven marketing growth marketeer with over 5.2 million media spent. So this guy knows his stuff when it comes to data around which platforms work, from Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, Apple ads, even Tinder ads, if you ever did something like that. And he is an ex-head of growth for Tagvenue. He works now as a senior growth strategist for Growth Collective, and he's an xladder.io, maybe one of the biggest agencies when it comes to growth marketing worldwide. Worked with some big organizations like Booking.com, Nestle, but also smaller startups and software houses and SaaS businesses. So what it's important that in this webinar, this is like an aperitif. Yeah, it's a little bit of food from our whole growth marketing mentorship program that we tailored for software houses, where we have over 9 guest instructors, people who work for Google, for Salesforce, live chat, project people, so on and so forth. And also, Bartek is one of the guest instructors in this course. So why we do this whole webinars and we are creating this content, and we want to learn and see for who this actual mentorship program fits the best. And I can tell you that in this webinar, definitely you will learn how to quickly start B2B customer acquisition, even if you didn't do it before. So the process, what will happen, guys? You will come in or after the whole webinar, and you will get on this bike and you will get a boo-boo. You will start seeing the whole mistakes in the whole process. But then you will be overwhelmed. And now most probably you will pissed off that you spend a lot of time with me to learn all these things. Some of you will start to ask questions. And there we will be to help you in this process. So we make sure that you can implement these things. And then at the end, the process will be automatic. So guys, I cannot urge you more to put questions if you have in this webinar. In the end, what we do is, both me and both Bartek, we are just building B2B funnels for tech businesses. Yeah, so nevertheless, even if you're not in tech business, this is something that you can implement in your other businesses. But we tailored it specially for software houses and SaaS, B2B SaaS businesses. So here, what I would like now is to stop this and to give the screen to all the guys, to our superstars, let's say, in customer acquisition. Bart, the screen is yours. The floor is yours. In the meantime, guys, in the chat, you can put a question. And this question, if you hover over your text, can be transformed into a question that everybody will be able to see. So then in the question side, you will be able to upvote someone's question. That means that you don't necessarily need to have the same question over and over again. Just check it out. So, Bart, you're on.
Okay, thanks for this amazing introduction, and I really hope that I will meet all expectations. We got a lot of things to cover, so let's get started. Just please confirm, guys, that you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. It's focused.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's focused. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So today I'll be talking mostly about acquisitions and activation with this lean analytics cycle. But before we start this, when we were preparing this webinar, we were focused also on business as usual. However, the recent situation with COVID impacted a lot of businesses. So just to give you a few stats about growth of traffic and growth or decline of conversion, we can see that a lot of industries are impacted by this, and very important thing for us will be now focusing on this. Not only acquisition but also activation of customers. We very clearly see that business cycles are now a little bit postponed. We see that time to make a decision for B2B customers is getting longer and longer. And our business needs adjustments, not only in messaging, not only in the flow, the offering, but also probably pricing. So, but actually, it's also an opportunity for all of us, because the situation that happened after the recession, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, created also an opportunity to the current winners. This is a segment of the most valuable companies in the US, and we see that when they didn't decide to survive, but to invest into the marketing and adjust the strategy after the recession, and currently they are becoming winners. So there are at least a few strategies that you can implement, that you can consider, and it should depend on your financial strength and your strategic position. Because if you can afford, if you have enough resources to survive without revenue in the next let's say 12 months, you can implement strategies like investing to grow or playing offense. However, if you can't afford that, most likely you will have to fund the transformation, change your strategic focus, or just decide to go big or go home. We see also that like indicator of showing how these companies wants to grow, and if they are deciding to like invest more, or just put their company on freeze, or just lay off employees. We can see that this travel and transportation industry is really affected. Automotive is affected. So companies there in this industries on the top of the chart are going to create a lot of opportunities for businesses. And after this COVID situation, it will probably change the industry significantly. So let's move to the main point, and the main point here is about activation and about acquisition and activation. And for this, this is basically the marketing funnel. I just put there simple like random numbers. Let's say we got 1,000 visitors on the website, and a lot of marketing agencies, a lot of marketing specialists, like marketing departments, are just focused on generating this visitors. And very often in like SaaS businesses, this prospecting, like what's happening after like free trial is like they don't really care, and they think, okay, it's the product department responsibilities. However, conversion rate is extremely powerful. Increasing conversion rate is extremely powerful, because the lower we go on the funnel, we see that you can generate huge growth there. So let's do some funnel hacking, and let's say we will increase our conversion rate 2 times, and we'll get 20% conversion rate. So actually we'll increase this by 10 percentage points. So then we see that by having just 2 times more prospects, we have 8 times more sales. And by increasing this conversion rate on this lower stages, and actually across every stage, we see that very simple changes in communication, on providing sales enablement materials to the company is doing the trick. So basically, like this whole concept is based on identifying where are the conversion leaks in your funnel, and there are like two ways to grow your business. The first thing is, of course, like bring more leads to the business, and the second one is to get better conversion. And like I strongly believe by my experience in like both B2B and B2C companies, that focusing on just one thing is not a solution. And very often, like thinking like, okay, give me more leads is not a solution at all, because we are just adding more fuel to the engine that is not working properly. So let's say this is I think one of the most popular funnels, where we put traffic from SEO and search engine marketing, and we are putting these people like through the funnel. We are using content, and we are making sure that the conversion here is going like we are like adjusting that by marketing automation. And this is actually one, like this is a simple method. However, it's a baseline for further optimization. So if something like marketing automation is new to you, this is something that you should definitely consider. The like benchmarks are a very important part of setting up your strategy, and I believe that by this you can set up your goals and think, okay, so what other players that are getting higher conversion rates do it? So then you can just think about causal factor of their success and try to figure something similar. So if you are like trying to like, it can be a good exercise for you to just check your conversion rate from lead to opportunity based on different channels and figure out, okay, where can I improve? Because actually less than 1% of B2B leads are becoming closed revenue, and around 7% of buyers are involved into the average B2B purchase decision. So activation and acquisition needs to go together, and it cannot go together without a proper tracking, because as we can see here, we need to identify specific metrics. We need to like identify specific micro and macro moments. So before someone is becoming a prospect, they are a visitor, and they have like different we can identify different metrics that can tell us, okay, where is my bucket leaking? That it can be like something like like users cannot find a CTA button. They don't after 5 seconds of being on the website, they still don't know what our service is about, and they are leaving that. But we'll go to this later. So okay, so we want to like increase conversion rate. We want to increase number of leads. So give me some growth hacks. Actually, growth hacking is still not really understood concept, and that's why actually we are communicating that growth marketing is actually this direction that companies should follow, because growth hacks are like new things that were that actually didn't that actually no one used before. So let's say dedicated outbound based on automation on LinkedIn and email campaigns. However, like the more companies are using that, the more the effectiveness of this specific tactic is going down. And after it's adopted by masses, effectiveness of this tactic is going down. So what we should have is to have this experimentation mindset, to continuously drive improvements across our customer touchpoints. As we saw, we have around seven people involved into one business decision about purchasing your product. And as we'll see on the next slides, it's not getting these business processes are getting very, very complicated. And one more thing here is actually let's go to this. So this growth hacking mindset and this experimentation mindset is very good in generating these small improvements. And if you want to if you are like generating loss and you are looking for this one golden tactic that will put your company will change you into a unicorn, you probably won't get it. But if you implement,
it's like this small B2B called approaches,
yes,
right? Like how to I don't know, how to prospect on LinkedIn and then outreach to them with different tools and automation and tactics. It will just help you a little bit for some time, but then you will not grow. It will give you just some small little dose of drug and that's it, right?
yes. However, actually, even these tactics, if we add something new, if we make this experience like very personalized by, for example, account-based marketing, like it can still go up. However, we again can come to this point that actually this tactic is adopted by the masses and the effectiveness of this is going down. So then again, we need to think about the whole customer journey and implement further improvements.
I'm really happy that you put this out because we see that a lot of and I was like this at the beginning too, like when 5 years ago when I started all this, is that I had this syndrome of small little tactics, that the hacks and automations that I could do, right? And I was more intrigued. I was more like, I want to do these tactics because I was getting fast results, right?
Yes.
When you're giving me all this process of growth and I'm looking at this, it's like, oh my God, it's overwhelming and it's hard and it's long and it's so on. Exactly what I just mentioned in the process before, that it will be overwhelming because
Yes.
if not, we will not be here. We will all be rich and don't care about this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the end, actually, it all finishes on this old boring strategy and thinking, okay, what's my target persona? How can I reach these people? What should I communicate to them to persuade them and make them aware that my solution is the best for them and I can solve their problem or provide cool benefits that will increase their comfort. So basically, we got 3 questions that covers it, and actually, the main, from my perspective, the most important thing in whole growth process, in whole marketing, is to understand who are you talking to, but not that you are talking to 25 years old account manager from Wrocław, but actually ICP based on jobs to be done. So understanding that your ideal customer persona is a situation, is a person who's having real issues, and your product, your service should be, or either relieve pains or add additional benefits. So we consider here functional aspects, emotional aspects, in personal dimension and also social dimension. And I got here template for these interviews that I think this is the best time to do right now and talk to your customers and identify how actually their needs and their fears changed over time. Because what we'll figure out in these interviews is that they are they don't really they don't really have the same motivation and the same behaviors that they had like a month ago, and most likely they are they are not focused on like generating more money, but by saving more money. And what you will figure out on the Profit Well did an interesting study that after the situation with coronavirus appeared, they changed the copy on their product to saving costs, and it generated like 3 times higher conversion rate than this copy focused on getting more value. So this interviews and this data spreadsheet I will share with you. Why I like it so much, because this methodology is very like methodical. And here you got like very specific personas, very specific people that you are talking to, and identifying what's their emotional, functional, and social job. And by this approach, you are able to like take that, do analysis, and figure out and try to identify actually these patterns. And I strongly recommend you to like take that as like exercise and talk to a few of your customers and figure out what actually changed. One important thing is that ICP is, you don't have only one ICP. Most likely you have a few ideal customer profiles based on like situation you are solving for, goals as a company, and product capabilities. Why you have to map your customer journey and why you have to talk to your customers? Because this customer journey for B2B clients is extremely complex and not linear. And very often the customer, this is like a real report from Gartner that showed how this start to purchase decision like looks like. And these customers are like making a lot of interactions, and not only interactions with us. Only 17% of the time they spent on the customer on the buyer decision, it's talking to us. 22% of the time is talking to to their whole buyer committee. 27% is researching independently online the solutions and comparing that to others, etc. So we have to always be sure that we are not solving issue only to the person that we are talking to, but to the whole to all stakeholders. So let's say we are talking about. Can you give me an example of a company?
Yeah, for example, if we have a software house and we would like to work with an organization to start, they go through digital transformation, right? Like, and they would like to do some kind of new applications for their organization. So let's say this organization is like 250 plus, like in employees, and you talked maybe to one of the product marketing in or the product owner in the organization on LinkedIn. You reached out, you had some calls, and that's about it. Yeah.
So this is a classic example that actually this buying decision is not ending on this specific person, but probably CFO will be involved into this, or other finance person. You will have also end users of this software, so probably even customers of this customer. So the buying the decision committee will probably involve most department of the company, and all the company will have questions, will have doubts, they will have like issues that they want to solve, and you need to address all of them.
Exactly, and this is where I think we make a lot of mistakes, because we think that content marketing or whatever activities we do, we only need to do it for that product marketing or product owner. But no, it influences the whole cycle at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, And this is also very exciting to see how enterprise clients or like corporate clients are interaction with our products. Like we often see that there's one IT guy who's doing like very minimal activity within our product, and our like lead scoring based on activity is basically disqualifying that lead. But after like checking the domain and checking the company that this person is working in at, we see that this is a big corpo that wants to like do a huge project, and they can spend millions with us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very important to like to qualify leads based on other criteria than just activity, and focusing on discovering who this person really is, and what other decision makers are within this buyer decision.
Great. Guys, if you have questions by now, just put it in, because in the end we collect all the questions and make sure we will answer it. And in the recording, you will be able to jump directly to the answer of that particular question, because a Crowdcast is tagging the answer of a particular question. So just feel free to, meanwhile, while the presentation goes on, you put it in, because we want to make sure this is interactive and is relevant to what we are, why you're here, yeah?
Mm-hmm. So this is exactly what you just said, Romeo, about buyer enablement information through every channel and every buying stage. So we should not also be focused only on one stakeholder, but also what one stakeholder have in mind in that specific buying decision process. So CFO will, in the first stages, will be interested in like estimation of the project. After that, they will be interested like, okay, so how exactly we're going to pay you, and so on. So we're focusing about the channels. Like we know that we cannot just write to a B2B customer and tell them, okay, this is my product, buy it. But this, due to the complexity of this B2B businesses, is our communication should be multi-threaded, multi-channel, multi-touch, and very, very highly targeted. And this we can do only if we previously identified the ICPs, where we identify the whole buying committee, and we fully understand how it works. So we should also adjust this based on lifetime value, because like here we are talking about software houses where LTV can be like few millions, but we are also talking about B2B SaaS companies that LTV is like sometimes 500 or like 2K dollars, and there the whole approach should be different. So the simple rule is that the higher your LTV is, the more the higher touch you should have. And if we are talking about channels, what we kind of like often see is that companies are just focusing on one or two channels, and they are not brave enough with testing different approaches. They are just focused on SEO and focus only on like blog posting and landing page creations. However, the marketing, like especially digital marketing, gives us a lot of other tools, and there's a very good methodology to figure out what other channels I can use to boost my company, and it's called the Bullseye framework. Here, basically, you got all marketing channels that you can use, and you pick 6 of them, and you think and you just test one by one in figuring out, okay, so what can generate additional growth for me. This is very important, especially for this multi-touch and multi-channel campaign, because the more interactions you have with the client, more likely you will be taken as an expert in that specific field for them. So like, I didn't understand that a few years back, that actually brand awareness campaigns are crucial for generating this high value deals. And I think Romeo also mentioned about something like this, right? That's focusing only on like outreach didn't generate any growth, but combining these channels and making sure that customers really take me as an expert and my product as a perfect solution for them, this makes an impact, right?
Of course, because we can see now that just going on one layer, right, is not the actual like the best example now. COVID-19, everybody started to do webinars and content marketing. They didn't do it in the past, and in the past maybe they only did email outreach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now with this behavior that we have, and pushing sales and doing email outreach will definitely not work. So what we need to do is to have another layer, another channel where we do content marketing, these type of webinars, where we can have this kind of relationship, this kind of long lasting conversations, so that when when we are getting back into business and everything will be calm, then you guys will remember about the organizations that actually bring value to you during those times. And then you had this commitment, not like pushing all the time only email and LinkedIn outreach, right?
Exactly.
So this is why it's very SEO is changing, right? Like you are doing some shady stuff, and then suddenly everything changes and you're dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, I don't have leads. And so many businesses failed, and they are like out of business because of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very important. It's like in investment, I think. Like you need to put your money in different baskets. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, diversification. Like what we see also on CPLs is that in specific industries, the CPL is going low.
Just try to
Cost per lead is going down, but in other industries is going up. So the industries that were focused, for example, on this offline ads, out of home ads, this offline events, like this enterprise customers were really focused on these segments. And right now they also find a lot of opportunities in digital marketing. So you also see that cost per leads and cost per clicks on specific segments is going really high, because the competition is higher. So some examples of where you can, as a B2B company, where you can focus your attention. Account-based marketing, we already discussed that, with a scope depending on lifetime value, but only like very like, actually, I'm not really sure if we should cover this topic, because the next few webinars are about this. But yeah, this is basically
go deep. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's something that I think is very important for this audience.
So account-based marketing is basically marketing that is specified by this four aspects. So this is very highly targeted marketing with multi-touch strategy. It's basically like a specific strategy that takes into the account all these aspects, and is rather focused on like quality over quantity. So in the companies, you can find dedicated account managers that are sourcing leads by themselves, but this is also something that you can hack a little bit with tools like Clearbit and Segment. But yeah, let's mention about this later. So an example of that, like actually reverse IP software, is one of the tactics that account-based marketers are using. And this is This is a tool, a software that identifies companies that were on your site, and based on this strategy, you can create a dedicated outbound flow to reach them. And on the next few slides, actually, this is one of examples how Clearbit Reveal can allow it by implementing this software and requesting the IP addresses of visitors. After that, you basically duplicate results against the customer. So just to get leads, to get a list that we should email, so exclude the current customers, do a lead scoring by Matkudo API. After that, implement use Clearbit Prospector to find the key people, and use another product of Clearbit, enrichment, that adds all person data. So you can do lead scoring again, and you can send very, very highly personalized emails through the email platform of choice.
And this is, guys, really magic in here, because especially now where we are spending more time in consuming content, because obviously we have more time now, especially if you are working from home, we have the attention, and using, even if you use like Albacross or Lead Feeder, any tool that can identify, okay, what kind of organizations are going there and who are those people that are consuming your content, and then later on do a personalized email outreach, is good enough, because you have the attention today and they give you the time on spending and consuming your content. Like you guys here, we know that, okay, these are the people that are really interested in this type of content, and then later on we can continue the discussion on LinkedIn, email, Zoom calls, on one-to-one whatsoever. It's very important to personally go out and outreach to the people that already gave you the time.
And this is actually only step one, because in step two you can use other automations, and you can identify also like even by this solution you can identify what kind of persona was that, because if we have like different personas for like product managers or IT guys, for example, for the segment.com, we know that we should serve them different content, and we should personalize that in a different way. So you can do it by mixing these tools, and by this activity you can do a personalized onboarding that's actually fully automated, but serve them also different content for their current like issues. Okay, so let's come back to this. A lot of companies running in B2B segment are getting high ROIs on activity on Captera and G2, so review sites, both organic and paid. A lot of software houses are also doing that, and even in paid, they are getting like very, very, very high ROI. So I definitely recommend it to try to you. I recently did analysis of my activity, and I was really happy about it. So SEO, like, I know it's very general, however, it's getting more and more important now. And there's also one tactic based on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, and actually I can share it with you after the webinar, but this activity allows us to create a dedicated flow that's fully automated by using the tool called Lemlist, that we can even add our pictures that's showing a customer website on the laptop that we got on this picture. So it's really hacky, and I recommend it to try it. And one last thing is about LinkedIn and Facebook ads. And I know it's very controversial. However, these tactics for this paid social ads and other can be useful. It but we have to keep in mind that our main goal is to become a trusted source of expertise here. So a tactic for this paid social should look like this. Prepare something truly valuable and useful for our ICPs. It can be some kind of like white paper, benchmark data. And create a campaign just for warming the prospecting audience by using videos, showing up banners, and entertaining to grab attention. Optimize that for clicks, not for conversions. Because the next campaign that you will set up is a remarketing audience, for example, for LinkedIn traffic, as a second step with lead generation ads. And another step for you is to keep warming them by email drip campaigns and prepare a dedicated sequences for different life cycle stages. So what the last topic here is to match your channels with your audience, with the entire buying committee, with matching and persuasive messaging. And we should answer two questions here. What's in it for me, and why should I choose you over X? And this is the concept of from CXL, that you should focus your messaging here. And I really like this tool, like this actually spreadsheet, because it's also very methodical. And in this spreadsheet, you can do a copy tear down of your current messaging. So you can copy this spreadsheet and do analysis if your current messaging is meeting the requirements of the persuasive copy that's really making you to convert. There's also another link to how to come up with, in also very methodical way, to come up with feature positioning and unique value propositions headlines. So check it after the webinar. And we should always keep in mind that our messaging should be adjusted to what kind of products we are offering and to what kind of solution we have. If we are a SaaS company that's actually coming up with something new, we should keep in mind that the awareness of this solution is lower, and we should focus on sharing stories, secrets, and really showing to our customers what kind of benefits they can expect by using us. And the higher awareness of the customer is, the different content we should offer them. So if they are aware of the solution, like there's no point of explaining them how they can benefit from that. But what we can use in our, for example, email campaigns in these drip sequences is to give a proof of concept and share like our successful customer stories. And after that, we can talk about pricing and making them buy the product. So to sum up this part, we should have ICP like as a first defined and validated. After that, we should know what our pain points, what our customers' pain points are, what are their motivation and driving forces, and also did gut analysis based on what we offer on the what we communicate on the whole buyer journey, and make sure that this is consistent and make sure that the English is perfect, because like if we are not native to this language, it's sometimes really easy to make a mistake. So when it comes to conversion, we should always keep in mind that the most important thing for coming up with conversion optimization is to know what goal we want to accomplish and what KPIs are like showing that this goal is being achieved. So example for e-commerce store could be at an additional 10 million profit by the end of this financial year. And we know that the KPIs for that could be like order conversion rate, average order value. And we know that we should target specific audiences, and we should focus on specific areas. And for these areas, our influence can be made by you using the levers. And examples of levers are trust, pricing, social proofs, free returns for this specific e-commerce customer. Finally, lean analytics cycle. And lean analytics cycle is a framework that we can use for doing these B2B experiments. And why I'm talking about this and not about the growth process that we always use as growth marketers is because this framework allows you to step by step understand what should you do and what kind of decisions you have to make and based on what criteria. And this is basically a little bit transformed this concept of conversion framework. So you choose a KPI you want to improve, you set up a value for that, and you are figuring out how to improve the KPI. And why for B2B businesses this cycle is good? Because in B2B companies, very often you are not operating on high volumes of data, high volumes of traffic, conversions. So often you have to come up with ideas without data. So you are identifying that by, for example, checking your competitors, by talking to your customers, by doing this qualitative and quantitative analysis, and then you are coming up with this with these tests. However, the casual flow with data is that you are identifying users, you are identifying where this bucket is leaking, and try to identify what they have in common. And when you find a metric that correlated to this KPI, then you can make changes. And what we can do in early stage startups and also B2B companies that don't have enough traffic to show us significant results after, let's say, 2 weeks or a month, is that sometimes we just do brave implementation. And we know that based on these learnings, we know that this page needs to be adjusted, and our communication should be based on something else. So this is the first way, and the second way is, of course, this A/B testing. However, what's very important here is that this growth experimentation should not be understood only as like this A/B testing mentality, because the most important thing here is to make constant improvements across the whole customer journey, and being sure that you are actually tracking this data and you are tracking the efficiency of these tactics. However, keep in mind that if your business cycle takes a year, you most likely in two weeks or 2 months you won't see the results. So sometimes you just have to be brave, just make the changes to the business.
So guys, I know this might be overwhelming, and it's fine, because there is a lot of information here, a lot of data, and this took us actually years and a lot of practice to look into it. So don't worry, we have a solution for that. So if you want to go much more deep in something like this, you have two choices in the end. You will be able to learn it on your own, participate in a bunch of webinars like these, and try to go online and articles and so on. Or we could start helping you and mentor you. I will let this thought a little bit, because at the end, before we go into questions, I will show you what we prepared also together with Bart. But don't forget, in the end, this is not an exact science. Yeah. So and this is where we see a huge discrepancy between the mathematicians of like the developers and us marketeers. Yes, we need to merge, but in the end, what we do here is we test. We are trying to figure out what works, and we are doing these experiments. We don't know at the end of the day. We have some hypotheses, and we are just testing these hypotheses through a very good framework and through very clear processes. Simple as that. But don't forget that in the end, we are just trying to figure out what works. It's not an exact science.
Exactly.
That's what I would say at this point.
Because what growth marketing and this whole experimentation, this whole testing is about, like, you are coming up with these ideas, so you pick a metrics to change this specific like behavior, and you try to find correlation by checking the data or by talking to customers. You test causality, and after you've tested that positively, you are doing everything what you can to optimize this factor. And when you figure out that your main business value will be, like, for Superhuman, the email, the main value they provide to their customers is like they are the fastest email service on the market. This is what they optimize for, and you have to also, like, understand your unique value proposition as a business, and unique levers that by optimizing you are basically growing your business. And that's it. This is basically how Dropbox grew. Like, they were one of the first who implemented these referral programs for free storage for just recommending a friend, and they optimized that. This is how Airbnb is optimizing their referral program for recommending new hosts. And they are like testing new approaches to
Revolut, for example, same story.
Yeah, this is basically that. And you have to, like, after you work in the specific cycles, you understand more and more about your customers, about your levers, about your business, about needs of customers that are hidden, and you basically generate growth. So I know that we are running out of time, but let me just quickly go through the rest of the slides, because here, after I will share this presentation with you, but you can find a way how to qualitatively and quantitatively analyze your business, and how to generate ideas through experiment backlog. So I attached here, like, usability testing, step-by-step guide, examples of service to customers, and examples of how to do interviews with your customers. And I linked also here a few tools for qualitative analysis. Most of them are on a free plan. So usabilityhub.com, you can just remotely do user research. You got also guess the product, that's working on 5 seconds test. So after 5 seconds, you know what your customers, how your customers understood your product, your landing page, and few other sources that I recommend to go through. If you are going to generate new ideas, especially now when all the strategies are being changed now, you can find it useful to just go through like this like tactic playbooks, but also be sure that only just few % of that will be valuable to you, and these are like things that you should and you have to validate before implementing. So consider that as like list of tactics that potentially can be good for testing for my business. And the last thing is that what gets measured get managed. This is something what in B2B companies we can see a lot of that these business cycles are very long, and in the end, when you talk to B2B marketing managers and you ask them, okay, so what's generating the more growth, the most leads, what's the CPL per channel, they are giving you the numbers based on, for example, based on last click attribution. But what's very important is that you have to like analyze the whole customer journey and all interactions with your website. And the simplest and the free tool that offers that is Google Analytics. There's a new, I think it's still in beta, but this attribution mapping. But also there's in Google Analytics there's a report for assisted conversions. So we can also check and make the decision about optimization and about figuring out how customers are interacting with you by this. If you are like bigger business, you can choose and try B2B dedicated attribution softwares like Visible or Lean Data. I linked here a few bonus resources for like templates, how to measure experimentation, and very good ebook from Ladder, how to step-by-step do a growth audit. And here's also a platform for free deals and best tools for startups at SMBs. The most interesting ones can be Airtable for 2,000 in credits just for free, AWS, SendGrid, Sendinblue, Zendesk. That a lot of these tools are offering you tools to survive this uncertain times. So you can just switch to them for the time when your marketing budgets are reduced. So to sum up, what's the most important here is to map the whole user journey and all stakeholders within the company, set up the sales process addressing the above, both generation and customer success, match your channel with your audience and matching and persuasive messaging, optimize regularly for continuously drive improvements across all customer touchpoints, and learn from unsuccessful tests. And optimize that's what's working. Okay. Thanks. I know.
Very hard to. I suppose all the people I see, Rob here, Carol, Christian, they're all saying that it's a great webinar. So, guys, if you liked it, you can do it a thumbs up. You can just put it in the comments. This is the type of content that we want to share with our audience. Bart, amazing. Before we go into questions, this point, virtual clap, yeah, it's a lot of virtual clap happening here also from Marek. So great stuff, I think. Bart, like people really like it. This will stay here so we can jump directly into the questions. But before that, guys, if you liked this is just a 1 hour thing of it. And yes, there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of data, but in the end, you need to go out and implement this. And this is what we thought with the team here and with a lot of people in our network is, okay, how can we make sure people actually implement all these things? And that's why we came up with this 6-week B2B marketing mentorship programs. We started initially to tailor it strictly to software houses. So I'm talking about full stack growth marketing strategies for these software houses. It's still in beta, guys. So you're the first ones to know. We are looking for people who would be interested in this. I will just put what is included. So we have 6 module video courses. We have all the frameworks, all the processes so you can implement it. You have these exercises and tasks to implement what you learn, and personalized coaching calls, like one-to-one for each module. And I think this is something we will do at the beginning, because then it will be really hard to do with each and every module. But for now, because we want to see the results and because we want testimonials, we want to make sure we get out there in the coaching calls. And I will show you some really great mentors and guest instructors in there. Access to the community, and also 7 additional courses from guest instructors. So what do we have here? First, we look into the growth marketing funnels. You have also the link there. It's just an early access at this now, so you can just fill in the form, and we will let you know when everything is ready. We look into buyer persona. We look into how to create offers and lead magnets, that content gated ebooks, webinars, whatsoever, right? Then we look more and more deep into B2B customer acquisition tailored for software houses at this point, and content marketing. And then we look into sales enablement. How do we remove that friction? Conversational marketing, account-based marketing, so on and so forth, so we can remove that time to close. And then obviously prioritization, measuring, and reporting. Guest instructors we have. Other than Bart, we also have Wojtek. Wojtek is great also in when it comes to growth marketing. Had 10 years experience in this field. He worked with very big companies, good friend of mine. Bart, you also know him very well. We have Beata. Beata is from Project People. She has 14 years experience as a strategist, runs, works with great tech companies. Jonathan, one of the best guys I met when it comes to storytelling. Like, this guy knows how to take your sales pitch and put it in storytelling. He works out in Tel Aviv with a bunch of tech companies. Marcos, most probably you guys know him. He is brand ambassador of Live Chat. He worked for Brand24, Tuplux, Divante, with how he says that he's a veteran in the marketing, 20 years experience in the field. Simon, who is working in sales efficiency. So this guy knows his stuff when it comes to sales, like direct sales, email outreach, so on and so forth. He will teach these things. Antonello from sales operation managers at Google. So he will teach us how to actually use Google Ads for B2B. I mean, who else can teach it better than someone from Google itself? And he also said that he is helping startups, tech companies, software houses with mentorship, so we can make sure we implement all these things. And Jan, it's definitely the analytics guru here. So I just wanted to show you that also we have community, also we have special webinars and critique. Like, we will critique the work that you are doing. So at this point, this is what I just wanted to show you. If you're interested, just put it in. I put also the call to action here. This is something where we can really accelerate your learning. So if you have questions about it, bring it on. Now we go in directly into the questions.